Good morning and welcome to Daybreak. I'm Alexandra Clemens.
And I'm James Hill. Thanks for joining us for the first Daybreak of the semester. Coming up, the cause that had people from the city and Point Park jumping into the Monongahela.
And construction throughout the city is working to make Pittsburgh one of the greenest cities in the nation. Find out what Point Park is doing to join the initiative.
Plus, we have an exclusive interview with a member of our UView family who's had to fight to get back here to Point Park.
Daybreak starts now.
It's been pretty cold, hasn't it?
It has. I'm really looking forward to some warmer temperatures.
It makes it so odd because here in the United States, because it's actually been the warmest year on record in the rest of the country, in the world for that matter. Olivia Fisher, she has some of the most advanced technology our city has to offer. Digital Doppler Daybreak radar is the most powerful radar on Point Park's campus. Olivia, how's it looking weather-wise?
Well, James, today we are going to be seeing some snow flurries, highs in the lower 30s, and winds coming out of the north at about 10 miles per hour. Now, with these temperatures playing with freezing levels, you do want to be careful out there on those roadways and sidewalks because it tends to get slick. Now, we're going to send it back to Emily Brack at the news desk, where she's going to have your national and international headlines.
President Barack Obama laid out his vision for the final years of his administration during Tuesday night's State of the Union address. The president applauded the country for overcoming the struggles of a recession and wars during his 2 terms of presidency. The president said, quote, "The shadow of crisis has passed and the State of the Union is strong," end quote. Obama also mentioned tax-related programs to benefit middle-class and working-class families, fighting terrorism, and improving relations with Cuba. Republican Iowa Senator Joni Ernst responded to the State of the Union address by saying that her party would do its best to change Washington following its victory in the midterm elections. The Republicans, who now control both the House and the Senate, aim to approve the Keystone Pipeline and repeal Obama's Affordable Care Act. According to Japanese officials, no word has been heard from ISIS involving the 2 Japanese citizens that were taken and are now being held captive. Kenji Goto and Haruna Yukawa are currently being held by the extremists for a $200 million ransom. They were last seen this past Tuesday when a video released by ISIS showed them in orange jumpsuits. The ransom was due on Friday, and it was the first time that ISIS had shown hostages on camera without executing them. A measles outbreak has been traced to Disney theme parks in California and includes 5 park employees who were infected. Several dozen measles cases have emerged in California, 4 other states, and Mexico in the outbreak linked to December visits to Disney theme parks in Orange County. That is some of what is going on in the world. Now I'm going to send it over to Jillian with the latest in the world of entertainment.
Award season is in full swing and the red carpet is heating up with the hottest nominees and guests. The 87th Academy Award nominations were announced earlier in the month. Whiplash, The Grand Budapest Hotel, Boyhood, The Theory of Everything, Birdman, Selma, The Imitation Game, and American Sniper are all up for Best Picture. And Pittsburgh native Michael Keaton squares off against Steve Carell, Bradley Cooper, Benedict Cumberbatch, and Eddie Redmayne for Best Actor in Leading Role. Also coming up is the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah. Attendees will get a preview of the newest indie movie set to premiere later in 2015. Some films to look forward to are Z is for Zachariah, based on the 1974 novel by Robert C. O'Brien. The End of the Tour featuring Jason Segel and Jesse Eisenberg, Digging for Fire, and Nasty Baby, to name a few. Hollywood will get the first look at these and other upcoming indie movies. 19 Kids and Counting star Jessa Duggar was spotted in Washington, D.C. this past weekend, voicing her political and religious views for everyone to hear. The star participated in a pro-life march, spreading the event throughout her pictures on Instagram. And she wasn't the only Duggar who was there. According to reports, other members of the Duggar family were also on hand at the march, but they kept a low profile. That is everything going on in the world of entertainment. Now back to the couch with James and Alex.
Thanks, Jillian. Coming up on Daybreak, the Super Bowl is this weekend, and Josh Croup will be joining us to tell us everything you need to know about that big game.
And jumping into the cold river? I don't think so. But see what good cause got other people from the city jumping into the river.
Lunatics.
Are a social people. We share our inspiration, wisdom, creations, and memories. We share what makes us laugh and what angers us. Built on the notion of a free flow of ideas, our country thrives on the freedom of speech. Without it, who would watch over our governing powers? And how would we share our history to make a difference for the future? It's this freedom to share that gives us a reason to listen.
Start your morning with City News.
Start your morning with campus news.
Start your morning with political coverage.
Start your morning with fun.
Start your morning with us, only on Daybreak.
Did you know that Point Park has a cheerleading squad?
Don't stop. Don't get it confused.
Not only do our cheerleaders represent Point Park at regional and national competitions, but they also promote spirit and awareness of every sports team on campus. Come to any men's or women's varsity basketball game at home to watch the cheerleaders perform at halftime and cheer from the sidelines from the first jump ball to the final buzzer. Sports not your thing? You can catch the cheer team lead the crowd at the fall and spring pep rallies as well, or at several competitions around Pittsburgh each year. So what are you waiting for? Show the Point Park cheerleaders the support they show you.
To me, freedom of speech means there are no barriers to voice opinions. Communication is key to a functioning society and relationships in those societies. I believe our forefathers gave us this right, so if concerns or problems arise, we have the right to respectively use words, aids, and body language to give our message. Compromise may not always be met, but when it does meet, it opens up the world to new ideas, relationships, and makes the world become a happier place.
The City of Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and the Hill District Community Development Corporation have reached a deal allowing the redevelopment of the Civic Arena site to continue. The redevelopment of the 28-acre site hit a snag after the Hill District CDC appealed the Planning Commission's approval and asked an Allegheny County judge to overturn the ruling. The disagreement came over the amount of affordable housing that would be built on the property. As part of the agreement, the city will work to form an affordable housing committee.
And the shakeups continue at the United States Steel Corporation. The Pittsburgh-based steelmaker announced this week it plans to close 2 coke-making plants in Illinois and Indiana. The closures, they will affect over 500 employees and come just 2 weeks after U.S. Steel announced it would close 2 other plants that would affect over 700 employees. U.S. Steel has called all the changes in restructuring the Carnegie way as it strives to reach profitability.
And there's a new luxury hotel on the block. The 248-room Hotel Monaco opened on Wednesday in the former James Reed building on William Penn Place. The hotel is operated by San Francisco-based Kimpton, whose hotels are renowned for their luxury. What's got Pittsburghers talking is the Hotel Monaco sits right next door to another Pittsburgh luxury hotel, the William Penn. Monaco is the first hotel to be in direct next-door competition with the William Penn Hotel in a century. With Pittsburgh's hotel industry booming, the Monaco is the first of 5 new hotels slated to open in the downtown region.
And the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has a new chief executive. Tom Wolf was sworn in as the 47th governor of Pennsylvania in a ceremony at the state capitol earlier this week. Wolf, a native of York County, became the first person to defeat an incumbent governor in half a century. Governor Wolf stressed that the state's fiscal issues are his top concern. Governor Wolf has nominated all of Governor Wolf's 28 cabinet posts have actually been filled. 11 of them, however, they served under former Governor Ed Rendell. The posts that still require state and House Senate approval.
So, James, over the winter break, the Point Park Police and members of the rugby team jumped into the Monongahela for the polar plunge. Yeah. Could you ever imagine doing that?
Never in my life.
No.
Never.
Too cold.
Aubrey Hankin, she has the story.
We're here outside Heinz Field for the
the Pittsburgh Polar Bear Plunge, where all these people behind me are jumping in the freezing Ohio River to raise money and awareness for the Special Olympics.
The Pittsburgh Plunge is the largest Special Olympics fundraiser in the state of Pennsylvania. The event has raised over $1 million in its first 4 years alone. This year, over 1,800 participants took the plunge in order to raise money for the cause.
This is actually my third year, and my brother's cousin-in-law has special needs, so this is a good cause. We come out for it every year, so it's a lot of fun. It's a rush. It makes you feel alive, so that's why we do it.
I've got a chance to meet, his family and extended family and see just what a positive impact this kind of event has on our community, and so I was really excited to do it this year, and we raised a lot of money, which was great. Definitely coming back next year.
Each participant must donate a minimum of $50 to take the plunge. The event also hosts an interactive plunge town where free food and activities for the participants is provided.
Well, I'm doing the polar plunge today along with some other members of the Point Park University rugby team. We love giving back to the community. It might not have that big of a local impact, but still doing our part, and that's why we enjoy trying to help back in any way that we can.
Not only did the Point Park rugby team get involved, but the Point Park Police Department took the plunge as well. Jeffrey Basong, the Assistant Vice President of Public Safety, said that they were able to raise over $2,000 in donations for the cause. The Pittsburgh Polar Bear Plunge continues to be successful in their mission to support the Special Olympics.
So that's it for the 2014 Polar Bear Plunge. It's so nice to see all these people caring for such a good cause. I'm going to go inside because it's raining and cold, but reporting for Point News, I'm Aubrey Henkin.
Thanks for that, Aubrey. Now the Super Bowl, it is this weekend, and it looks like there's some controversy surrounding it. Josh Krupp, he's here with all of the things.
Here's Josh Krupp with your morning sports update. Josh?
Yeah, James, there is a little bit of controversy surrounding that game, but we'll hold off on that for a little bit. First of all, what else will we lead off with in this being one of the biggest sports week of the year? It is Super Bowl week, and Glendale, Arizona is all set to host Super Bowl 49 between the New England Patriots and the Seattle Seahawks. Here's everything you need to know to be prepared for this year's big game. This year's Super Bowl matchup features a matchup between two #1 seeds for just the second year in a row and for the 5th time since 1990 when the NFL expanded its playoff system to include 12 teams. Last year, Seattle ran over the Denver Broncos on their way to a 43-8 victory. After winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 years from 2002 to 2005, New England has lost its last 2 Super Bowls, both to the New York Giants. Included in those losses was Super Bowl 42, where the Pats lost to the Giants 17-14. The site? Glendale, Arizona. The last time the Patriots won the Super Bowl was during the Spygate era, where the Pats were disciplined by the NFL for taping opponents' coaching signals. From Spygate now comes Deflategate. The NFL said last week that the Patriots were playing with underinflated balls in their AFC Championship victory over the Indianapolis Colts. The Patriots defeated the Colts, however, 45-7 to advance to the Super Bowl. Now Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson can join Patriots quarterback Tom Brady as the only quarterbacks to win 2 Super Bowls in their first 4 seasons. Brady, on the other hand, can match Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana's record with 4 Super Bowl victories. Super Bowl 49 kicks off from University of Phoenix Stadium Sunday at 6:30 on NBC. Elsewhere in the sports world, Major League Baseball is experimenting with a pitch clock in the minor leagues this season in an attempt to speed up games. Other proposals to speed up games include shortening inning breaks and limiting batters on when they can exit the batter's box throughout plate appearances. And the Pittsburgh Penguins enter this week 26-12-8 and are only 4-3-3 in their last 10 games. The Pens have lost 4 in a row dating back to January 16th. They host the Winnipeg Jets Tuesday before going on the road to take on the Washington Capitals Wednesday and New Jersey Devils Friday. Now that's everything I have for sports this week. James, Alex, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Josh. Coming up on Daybreak, Pittsburgh is working to become one of the greenest cities in the nation. Find out what Point Park is doing to help.
And we all know it is cold outside, and unfortunately, it doesn't look like it'll be getting any better anytime soon. Olivia Fisher, she'll be joining us again with the 7-day outlook.
Here at the Pioneers sideline, we get freshmen involved as quickly as possible so they get the real-world experience on air and behind the scenes to set themselves apart in internships and potential jobs. Blaine, where is that video? I needed it in KeyPro like yesterday.
All right, I got you, Chris. But I had a quick question for you guys.
What do you mean the questions? It's always a question. It's always a... What? Where is he? Blaine! 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 Freshman, you can't find any good ones anymore.
Do you know all the things you can do with your student ID? Along with getting discounts to some of the restaurants around campus. Showing your Point Park ID can net you deals on tickets at theaters in the Cultural District. To check out all the current options, just search Student Discounts on the Point Park University homepage.
An expression, a belief, a symbol, freedom to worship, an unspoken word. To express yourself means standing up for what you believe in. There's a freedom to worship and freedom to live. To speak never saying a word, to love, to let your voice be heard. The light of your own path. For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Our friends over at Point Park's radio station, WPPJ, have been nominated in the Intercollegiate Broadcasting System College Radio Awards for the 5th consecutive year, actually. Students Nathan Keenan and Zach Durkin are named as the category finalists for their submissions for Best News Feature Story, Best Public Service Announcement, Best Documentary, and Best Show Promo. The students, along with faculty advisor of WPPJ, David Fabili, will be traveling to New York City in March to attend the 75th Annual International IBS Conference.
United Student Government is working on making panel discussions a monthly event after their success with their Martin Luther King Jr. Day luncheon and discussion. In February, they are planning to have a discussion on what it means to be a student. The first discussion will be limited to invited students only. Deans and members of USG will invite students they believe will make a good contribution to the conversation. USG President Julian Singleton simply wants to keep students talking with these monthly panels.
And the University Center is taking new security measures. Previously, students were only required to show their IDs to the security guard on duty. As of the beginning of the spring semester, students are now required to swipe their IDs on a keypad. This allows security to keep the record on everyone entering the building in the school's database. So far, these measures are only being taken in the University Center and in the Student Center.
Point Park University is celebrating its longtime mascot. This week, the university placed a bronze bison statue in the lobby of Academic Hall. The bison became a mascot for the school in 1967. The Alpha Phi Omega fraternity teamed up with the varsity club to get their hands on a live bison, which they named Black Diamond II. The bison was kept at South Park and made appearances at parades and sporting events. After Black Diamond II passed away, the school introduced a bison mascot costume. And the bison image remains a symbol of school spirit today with the addition of the bison statue.
Now, becoming environmentally friendly, it's been an important initiative across the world.
The city of Pittsburgh has joined the cause, and so has Point Park.
Well, Daybreak reporter Tyler Jetsky, he has this great story.
Construction is never ending here in the city of Pittsburgh as they begin their transition from the steel city of the past to the green city of the future. What was once known as one of the most polluted cities in the U.S. is now one of the most livable cities. Construction and renovation projects are striving to make Pittsburgh one of the greenest cities in the United States. Point Park is also in the process of making their campus more environmentally friendly with the George Roland Wright Performance Center and the new Point Park Playhouse, where construction is set to begin by the end of the year.
We try to incorporate LEED aspects in all of our projects. It is difficult with renovation projects.
The Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, or LEED, is a certification program that recognizes green building strategies and practices. In Pittsburgh, there are 39 LEED certified buildings, including Point Park's George White Performance Center, which is the first university dance studio to earn LEED certification.
A little further downstream, one of the last things we actually did on that project was we put bike racks in the building. That's to encourage, obviously students and faculty and staff to use bikes as opposed to automobiles and trucks.
Reporting for Point News, I'm Tyler Jeske.
Other environmentally friendly buildings expected to be completed this year, include the new tower at PNC Plaza and the gardens at Market Square. Now, it is still cold, warmest year on record.
I'm ready for spring already.
I think everybody is. I want to go to Kennywood. We have to take our...
We're taking a whole trip to Kennywood,
We're going to have a Daybreak day at Kennywood. That's coming up. But to get to that point, Olivia, she has to guide us through the rest of winter. What's going on?
Thank you, James. Looking at the week ahead, today we do have a high of 34 and a low of 15 with some precipitation. Moving into Tuesday, it is going to be a little cooler with a high of 26 and a low of 14. But Wednesday does look promising. We are going to see some sunshine, a high of 31 and a low of 19. As we move into Thursday, we are going to have some flurries, high of 37 and a low of 24. Now moving into the weekend, we are going to see temperatures above 30. So James and Alex, I'm sorry, but I don't know if you'll be experiencing any outdoor activities this weekend, and you might have to wait a little longer for spring weather.
Thanks, Olivia. Coming up on Daybreak, our exclusive interview with Aubrey Henkin.
Now tune in as we talk to her about her struggles to get back to classes.
If you're having trouble with your schoolwork this semester, there's a helpful place on campus that you should know about. On the 7th floor of Lawrence Hall is the Program for Academic Success, which provides services like tutoring and academic counseling. The program's Writing Center is specifically designed to help you with your writing assignments, and you can even get help for them online. Students are encouraged to stop in the office, give a call, or send an email.
Every human being has a purpose, has a dream to have their voices heard, no matter where they come from, no matter where they go. As an American, it is their right to have freedom of speech. I have a dream that one day this message will speak louder than words, that even the quietest voice will not go unnoticed. That is my dream. What is yours? For more information, visit www.freedomofspeechpsa.org.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in into the first episode of Daybreak this semester. It's been a great episode here, but now we're talking with Aubrey Henkin, one of our dear friends, producer of Entertainment on Point. And Aubrey, she's just rejoining us after this semester here, previously, after dealing with some really difficult stuff. Aubrey, you had ulcer colitis. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I had the disease ulcerative colitis, which is an inflammation of your colon, and it's a chronic disease, so it doesn't have a set cure. So it's really unfortunate.
When did you first think that something was wrong?
Well, actually, I was diagnosed back in 2011, but it was never really a problem, so they put me on a medication I took once a day. And after a while, it just never reoccurred, so I just stopped taking it. Like the doctor said, okay, you should be fine. And then it was my last day, it was my moving out day of my sophomore year here at Point Park. I was moving out, and my dad was here to help me, and I had to lay down on my bed because I was in so much pain. And so my dad moved everything out, and then we drove home to Philly. And that night, I went to the hospital, and they were like, you're having a really severe ulcerative colitis flare-up. We need to get you on these steroids and on this other medication in order to calm it down. So I was in the hospital then for about like a week or so. Mm-hmm. And then I went home, and I was fine for the entire summer. And then in August, I was trying to come back to Point Park for my junior year, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I was here for less than 24 hours, and I had to go back to the hospital. And basically they just said the steroids aren't working and the other medication wasn't working. So I was on a bunch of different medications for a few months, and then after that they were just like, okay, there's nothing else we can do for you. We have to remove your colon. So
I had to go through a 3-part surgery to have their colon removed. And throughout those 6 months of the surgeries, I had to have like a colostomy bag, which is like a poop bag, if you will, for those 6 months. And so I had to take that whole year off of school. So I just came back in the fall of this year after all that.
I mean, I remember, this is so funny now I think about it, I'd be in classes, and we were supposed to be in a lot of classes together that year. And every professor, they'd be like, does anybody know how Aubrey Hankin was doing? And I remember wondering, like, where is this mysterious Aubrey? But dealing with something like that, it must be incredibly difficult. I mean, missing out on school especially. But what was the hardest part about dealing with all this?
It was just really hard on me, like, mentally. I mean, obviously it was hard on me physically, but it was more mentally because my body was not doing what I wanted it to do. And even every time I would take a step forward, the next day it would be like 5 steps back. So in that whole span, I spent like 5 months straight in the hospital, and it was just hard mentally.
So since you've had the surgery, is there any chance of anything coming back?
No, luckily the surgery is the closest thing they can do to a cure. So I won't have another flare-up. I might have some issues with the surgery, with like the site and stuff that they had to like rearrange. But other than that, I should be ideally good with no more flare-ups.
Without a cure, I know this isn't as common a disease as others you often hear about in the media. Are there like foundations and stuff to help reach a cure for this?
I mean, I know that there is the Ulcerative Colitis and Crohn's Foundation that's trying to raise money to get a cure. But, I mean, right now they just have, like, a certain medicine that you have to go in, like, once a week and get, like, you know, through your body. And that's, like, the best thing that they have right now, as close as it comes to a cure.
So how does it feel for you to finally be back at school and fight something like this?
It feels great, honestly. Like my sophomore year here before I got sick, I was involved but not really involved, but then I came back in the fall and I was like, that was an awful time of my life. I want to come back and hit the ground running, so that's why I became like more involved in UVU and stuff like that. So it feels honestly really great to be back. I couldn't be happier. That last year was like miserable, so I'm really glad to be back.
I can only imagine just how being in the hospital just for such a long stretch of time, I can't imagine just how difficult that would be. Aubrey Hankin, she is of course the producer of Entertainment on Point as well as the host of Entertainment on Point, joining us again last semester after dealing with some really difficult stuff. What are we expecting to see this semester on Entertainment on Point?
We're hoping to get a lot more bands in for interviews and performances, and hopefully we can expand more and not just local but more well-known bands as well. So we have a few emails in, hopefully people will respond.
Who, can I ask, you said it secretly, like who to? Who are we looking at?
We emailed Congos and a few other people. I don't want to give too much away just in case. I don't want to jinx it.
We definitely need a lot more celebrities.
Yeah,
I'm ready to meet a ton of celebrities.
A ton of celebrities. What celebrity would you guys each meet? If you could get one celebrity on Entertainment on Point, who would it be?
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question.
That is a hard...
There's so many beautiful celebrities, I wouldn't know who.
I would probably do Chris Evans. Captain America.
Captain America. I know Josh is probably excited. He has that Super Bowl bet going on with the other Chris, the Jurassic Park one. Yes, Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Thanks everybody. For Aubrey, of course, thank you always. So good to see you as always. Thanks for joining us for the very first episode of Daybreak for the semester. A lot of things we're going to have going on, and we will see you next morning.
Don't forget to come back next week and start your morning with us.
So not next morning, the next week, Alex.